The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at wrestlingwithjohners.com.
Hello, good afternoon, good morning or good evening, whatever time it is. Welcome to this very, very first edition of the Grappuchino Thoughts podcast. I'm your host, Lexi Williams. You may remember me or know me from The Brood, from the Turnbuckle Arms. Also appearing on the With Johners network as well. And of course, I write Grappuchino Thought articles on the With Johners website, which you can find at www.wrestlingwithjohners.com. I cannot begin to tell you how excited and nervous and scared I am to be on my own for the first time. I just want to make it clear, I've not left the Brood. It's still going to be me, part of the Brood. I can't leave them. Fantastic group of lads and people. So yeah, at the moment my Grappuchino machine has been fired up. It's currently dispensing a drink for me and my guest today, and of course you lovely people as well. Get into your favourite chair, get a blanket if you need to. I know I need to because it's bloody cold here. And get your drink of choice as we go into today's topic, which is what is a woman's place in 2021. So today I have an amazing guest with me. She is not only a fellow wrestling fan, she is a content creator, she's a podcaster, she's a model, she is genuinely a beautiful, beautiful human being. So Jessy, introduce yourself, please.
If you don't know who I am, then I'm quite surprised because I'm just always somewhere. I'm just all there, you know. Just can't miss the bright hair pretty much. But yeah, if you don't know me, then I'm Jessy. That I go under kind of just Jessy on everything. I think it used to be Jess Watches Wrestling, but then I rebranded. And yeah. Thank you for having me on the first episode. I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you for joining me. I just want to put out there as well, like, people listening to this will, you know, is it going to be quite anti-bloke because we're looking at the role of females? No, it's not. It's just an interesting perspective because, let's be honest, to find wrestling fans that are as passionate as what we do, like myself and Jessy, is very, very rare to find females that are so interested in it and create a lot of content surrounding it. So hopefully you'll join us for the ride and you will enjoy everything that you listen to, everything that you hear. So let's get into the actual nitty gritty of it. Before we go into what a woman's place in wrestling in 2021 is, what made you fall in love with wrestling?
John Cena.
Yes.
I was about 6, 7, and I lived like in an area with mainly boys, and we, like, they used to watch it all the time, and I started watching all these matches. And it wasn't until SummerSlam, I think it's 2001, 2002, and I really got involved, and I was like, okay, I like it. And then obviously I was like, John Cena obviously is the love of my life, so I watched it mainly because of him. And then I just kind of carried on watching it. There was like a little bit of like time when I was trying to be cool, when I was like, 15, 16, 17, I was like, I don't watch wrestling, I'm trying to be a cool kid. That isn't the time. But then I just went back to it. And, it's been the last 2 or 3 years since I've obviously started doing all this that I've become so open about it, and everyone knows. It doesn't matter who I speak to, I'm like, well, I like wrestling, and here we are.
Do you know what? That's so reassuring, because I'm sort of similar, only when I was a teenager, I never tried to hide it. I was just like, yeah, I watch wrestling, and so when I was in high school, I was very much the one that would walk around in wrestling themed t-shirts and stuff like that when it was non-uniform days and stuff. But yeah, like for me, it started with The Ultimate Warrior. I was on holiday in America with my two brothers and my mum and my dad, and one of my brothers just happened to be watching wrestling, and then The Ultimate Warrior came onto the screen, and that was it. That's the story, and 20 something odd years later, I'm still here. My poor mum, bless her, thought it was a phase that I'd grow out of. No, sorry, mum. So, with everything that you've just disclosed, do you have like a favourite wrestling style at all, or?
Not really. I've always obviously I've grown up watching WWE, and I try and watch all the rest of them. Obviously, at the minute, it's a little bit hard. I think with the whole COVID situation, kind of keeping up with the wrestling stuff. Obviously, not being without fans, and it's just been quite hard, quite tricky to stick with. So I've never really had like a favourite. Obviously, I just kind of dip my toe in each kind of style, in each kind of the indies and the odd little pan. Not as much as I'd like to. Sometimes I just get too busy, and I've obviously tried to focus more on other stuff, and obviously I'm working full time as well. So the rest of us been hard like recently to try and.
I get what you mean. Like life sort of gets in the way, and I'm exactly the same as yourself. I'm a WWE girl. Back in the day when it was WCW versus WWF, I was a Nitro watcher purely because I didn't have Sky Sports. So I don't know, this is going to make me sound ancient now. I don't know whether you'd know, but at 9:00 in the 90s, Cartoon Network switched from Cartoon Network to TNT on Fridays. So they would show Monday Nitro on Fridays, and it was free because it was on children's TV essentially. And that was it. Like, I watched it, but I still kept with WWE. And as I've gotten older, I try really hard to flip between products, but I keep going back to WWE because I think that's...
When you've been loyal for so long, it is hard.
Yeah.
I've said this on podcasts as well before, like, as much as, I don't ever want to be like, oh, AEW, like, oh, I don't want to watch that. It's all one thing. Like, wrestling's wrestling, and you shouldn't do it all, really. Like, you can't completely go against a company. Like, I say all the time that as much as WWE do some stupid things, they've given us memories. They've given us so many moments that we will look back on and just think, oh my God, like, that was an insane moment. People do slag it all off, and people do slag different companies off, but it's all the same. It's all wrestling. You can enjoy it all.
Yeah, I think people forget about that. It's like it's like, because I listen to a lot of metal, and it's like you either have to be Metallica or Megadeth. You can't like both. But that's just the impression that I get. I mean, I'm not going to poo-poo a company just because I haven't watched the product. I could, especially with everything that's gone on in the past year, I could potentially poo-poo a company because of who they decide to employ. And I think a couple of other fans would do that as well, but we'll get more into that later. So you've said that your promotion really is WWE. So let's look into that a little bit more. What's your favourite brand?
Recently, do you know what? It's probably been SmackDown.
Okay.
SmackDown, the last, like, I was always a Raw girl originally. Always. Back in the day, I was Monday Night Raw forever. But it's been the last few months, it's been SmackDown because they've pulled it out of the bag every single week, without a doubt. NXT, I've always really enjoyed it for a while. I was only really watching NXT, but they've not been so great recently, in my opinion. I think it's hard, like with what's kind of going on. It's kind of hard to keep it going, really, and find storylines that aren't, awkward, or everyone can be in the same place at the same time. It's hard. It's a very, very hard situation, and as much as everyone does slag it off, they've done the best they can for what they have, really, and the kind of situation they've got.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote an article ages ago about how us wrestling fans were dead smug because we had fresh content every single week, and we still do. Whereas, there's things like football that was stopped, tennis has been cancelled, the Olympics have been cancelled. So you go down all the list, and you're like, well, yeah, actually, we've had it quite lucky. But for me, at the moment, I only really watch NXT, purely because it's got more talent on it than I want to see. I got really pissed off with WWE because of how they've treated a lot of those that they've called up from NXT.
Yep.
So the likes of Nakamura, the likes of Aleister Black, the likes of Gable as well. I can't believe how they've treated them now that they're on the main roster. I mean, it's like, how many times are you going to make the same mistake before you learn and before... But back in the day, I was a SmackDown girl, very, very much so. Even though there were people on Raw that I wanted to see, the likes of Shawn Michaels, the likes of Triple H, the likes of the love of my life, Dave Bautista. Sorry. As much as I wanted to see them, SmackDown was always better because you had Eddie Guerrero, you had Chris Benoit, you had Kurt Angle, you had Edge, you had Rey Mysterio, you had Brock Lesnar, and it was also written by Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman, love him or hate him,
he's a legend.
He's a legend, but he also knows how to get your attention, how to keep it as well, which I feel is lost sort of nowadays. So when I was really excited when they announced, oh, Paul Heyman's returning to the writing team, and now he's not, and it's like...
I know what, I have the most respect and love for that guy. I really, really do. It doesn't matter. Even now, what he's been doing with Roman, it's just been absolutely fantastic. And he's one person that I'd love to meet, and sit down with him, because I think he's such a genius.
Yeah. And also as well, he's got that way of knowing how to piss people off, but he also does it in a way that keeps you coming back for more. So I was listening to your podcast and you were talking about Brock Lesnar and you were talking about how you went off him for a while and stuff like that, and I was exactly the same. I'm still not particularly fussed on Brock Lesnar, but I would watch the matches not for Brock, I'd watch it for Paul, watch it for Heyman, watch it for him, for his reactions and how he would hype the match and everything, because genuinely I think that's a lost art of how to hype the match, but there we go, I'll leave that there. Right, as we're talking about female wrestlers, do you have a list of top 5 female wrestlers?
Well, I'd say my favourite of all time is Victoria.
Okay.
Saw my reaction when she returned to that Royal Rumble, you'd crack up. I was in tears. I was on a Discord call to a group of friends, and that music went, and I just blooded. I was like, oh my god, I've been waiting so long for this. Honestly, I love her. Love, Charlotte Flair. I can't ever dislike her.
Yeah. We can dislike how she's booked, though.
Yes.
So when, especially myself, later on, if I go on to speak about Charlotte Flair and it's quite negative, it's not actually towards the person, it's towards the booking.
Thing, the way she personally gets treated by the fans and things like that is not nice. Because it's not her turning around to Vince and being like, look, can you book me every week, please? Thank you very much.
Yeah.
She's very talented. I have a lot of love and a lot of respect for her. She is absolutely fantastic. There is a lot of females that I really adore. my first like girl crush ever was Candice Michelle. Like, I loved her.
Yeah.
She's one person that I would have probably cried if she turned in that Rumble as well, actually.
Yeah.
They're up there. But there's so many, I couldn't even name, there's so many I wouldn't even be able to, like, even Mickey James as well, and Naomi, like, Natalia, she's also one of my favourites as well. There's so many. I wouldn't even be able to put 5 off my top. It's so hard.
I mean, it's interesting the names that you mentioned, because Natalia, I feel Natalia needs to be booked similar to Charlotte Flair, because no matter what people say about her, she is talented, so much so that she's working with new talent that's coming up.
Trains them is what people don't get. Like, I feel like they sleep on Natalia a lot. All right, she does always get booked with that same, you're a bitch, that kind of thing. Always, it is the same. But if they did really, really, really push her, she'd be about us, like, her and Beth Phoenix together, like.
Yeah.
A dream team right there. That is a dream team.
I mean, like, as much as I loved the Iconics, I would have taken them winning the tag belts, because they're not the traditional diva in the sense of, they're not skinny, they're not, they look like real women, if that makes sense. I mean, I say that because I was brought up, or I grew up in the Attitude Era, where you had the likes of, the Cat and stuff like that. And no disrespect to them, they did a cracking job considering, but yeah, it wasn't the best of times, I have to say.
It's completely different to, when I was growing up watching it, what it was like for the women then and what it's like for them now. Like, I think that's kind of why Evolution made such like a massive like thing for me. Like, I'd say it's my favourite pay-per-view ever, just because of how how much it's now changed and the big women get.
Yeah.
And they never, when I was younger, I watched bra and panties matches. That's what I watched.
Yeah.
Main event in WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Changed. It really is. It's amazing, really.
Yeah. I mean, even going back before headlining WrestleMania, that match between Sasha Banks and Bayley, the Iron Woman match, that was fucking brilliant. Like, literally, it had me out of my seat at times. And I was thinking to myself, why can we do this on NXT? Why can't we do this, But picking up on that thread then, one of the questions that I wanted to ask was, do you think that we will ever get more titles for females? In the sense of, WWE has now a tag division for women, and they also have 3 women's championships across their brand. Do you think it's something that they're going to branch out into? Maybe pick up an intercontinental champion or a US championship, that sort of level? Or
I personally, I wouldn't want it. I don't think.
okay.
Of them, of it not being handed out to everyone.
Yeah.
Like, amazing for, there are people that deserve those belts that obviously haven't had that opportunity to, and it absolutely does suck. But at the same time, I think, at the minute they've got good, I think what they do is that they can go to NXT and they can cross over. And if they have too many belts, it wouldn't be able to happen. Like with the women's tag team over on NXT at the minute, with all the championship and everything's going on there, they could join together and they could do something with the tag division on the main roster. That wouldn't be able to happen if they had, that an extra tag team or something like they do with SmackDown and Raw. It wouldn't be able to happen on NXT. We wouldn't see that crossover.
Yeah.
Like, being like the Riot Squad versus, I wouldn't be able to think of like Priscilla Kelly. And, I mean, remember the girl's name she's with. But imagine that. Like, imagine the crossover they could do on NXT.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as much as obviously I would love there's so many people I'd love to have the opportunities to have these different titles. I like the fact there's only, I do.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I would love to see someone like Naomi have a secondary title. So if they're not too sure about putting the main women title on them, at least if they had, let's just say they go with the women's US championship, yeah, and that is competed across all three brands as a trial run, see how it goes. Someone like Naomi, someone like Natalia, someone that deserves that recognition. Nikki Cross, for example. I mean, Nikki Cross, I feel so sorry for her. I know she's working with Alexa Bliss, or she was last time I caught up with it. But she really does deserve that title run. Like, that match she had with Asuka in NXT was absolutely off the fucking chain. It's one of the best televised ladder matches I have seen ever. And we knew she wasn't going to win. We knew she wasn't going to win because it, in terms of booking, it made sense for Asuka to remain champ. But for me, the way she's been treated on the main roster, it's like she's lost. She doesn't know what she's doing.
About Dana Brooke.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of love for Dana Brooke. Naomi is someone that, like, they should have listened to that pop last year's Royal Rumble. They should have listened to that. And they thought, hold on, we're missing something here. Like, apart from Edge, she got the best pop that whole night, that girl. She got the best pop. And obviously, I know then she was obviously out and she was injured. Why do they not think we should really do something with this girl? Like, something needs to be happening. And she's someone that I've been wanting for ages to just have this reign again, that it would be unreal.
But you see as well, if they introduced another title, because you think about how deep the women's roster is on WWE. Like, you've got 3 brands, in fact, you've got 4 brands technically, because you've got NXT UK, so you've got 4 brands, and you've got at least 5 women on each brand that could be the champion, rightly or wrongly, deservedly or not deservedly. So having an extra title for me could add to that. So obviously Naomi is married to Jey Uso. They are in a program with Roman Reigns at the moment. You could have an Evolution style dominance between Naomi with a women's title. You could have the Usos with the tag belts, and then you could have Roman with the Universal Champion, and be like, look, we're the best. We're not saying that.
I hoped that it was my kind of dream that they were going to have her join the Hurt Business. That was what there was a few rumours going around that was going to potentially happen. That would have been perfect. Incredible.
Yeah.
I would have really that.
Yeah, I agree. That would make good move. I don't know why I didn't think of it before. That's a quality move. But it's one of them. It's like, so obviously we've touched on it as well about the role of the female changing during our tenure of watching. What do you think is the biggest change, not just in WWE, but in the industry as a whole, in terms of women in wrestling?
I think they're more respected now, and that's what I live for, really. Like I was saying earlier about the whole, when I was younger, they were just sex icons. That's all they were. These girls were Playboy, Diva Search. That was it. I used to watch all these girls and they used to just prance around in their underwear, do all these little matches, like mud wrestling, all that. And now that it's still a lot more to be done. Don't get me wrong. There's still some companies, I'm not gonna sit here and completely shit on AEW, but their division they've got, they've completely just, I won't lie, that they had a lot of potential they could have done with that division. They haven't. And in a way, as much as everybody does really start on WWE, what they do with them girls on that roster, like last year, Bayley and Sasha, it was absolutely just unreal.
But on the same hand, though, you say that, and then you look at what they did with Lana. There's that conflicting messages for me. So, like, on one hand, we've got Bailey and Sasha. Yeah, we can take over. We can do what we want. And then there's Lana still doing the look at me. You know, I'm with Bobby Lashley now. I really hard.
It's like they shouldn't do it. Obviously, they maybe like a tiny little bit, but they, you know, Lana. Like I was listening to someone about her the other day, and they were saying, I think it was like, I can't remember who was saying it, but they were saying about her being like the toughest worker. Like that girl works her ass off. She really does. And I think they do. Unfortunately, they do have their favourites, and they do think, oh, we need to use her a little bit. Let's use her for that, which isn't right. Everybody absolutely slates Lana. I love Lana personally. I think she's fantastic. Like, it does not matter. What I love about her is it does not matter how she's treated. It doesn't matter, you know, what she, you know, gets put on social media. That girl still goes out there every single week and puts that effort in.
Yeah.
And
I mean, how many people really sat at home and would, if they were told, right, you're getting put through a table by Nia Jax, how many people would do that for 8, 9, 10 weeks on the bounce? Really? I mean, the saving grace was they didn't have like house shows to do, which saving grace because she could recuperate properly during each time, but
she can't. Like, you know, I think people do really, really, really underestimate her, and they don't give her the respect. They really do not give her that respect. And you know, I saw, like, it was quite a few months ago now, that she got so much abuse online, and I was like, why? Like,
yeah,
you go out there and take that every week. Like, please go ahead, because you ain't gonna do that shit. And you
yeah,
know, she does not get respect from women. She really doesn't, and that winds me up.
yeah,
That winds me up. And you know, as they do unfortunately push their favourites, and of course they're going to. Of course, you know, that's their thing. And with Charlotte, with Bailey and Sasha, they, you know, they're finally waking up that everyone loves Bianca Belair. Like, they're only just seeing it. They're opening their eyes. And I think, why couldn't you have done this for Naomi? Why couldn't you have done this, you know, a long time ago for so many people? Why are you, like, for example, like Shayna Baszler, she comes to the main roster. See you later, Shayna. Bye-bye.
yeah.
Like, that's what I mean. They don't. It's money, isn't it? You know, they want the merchandise, the money.
Yeah.
They're business people, but they don't listen to the fans.
Yeah. I mean, I was gutted that I was there when they announced that they'd signed the alpha female, Jessy. And I'd been a fan of hers for years. And I turned around and said, when I first saw it, WWE need that woman. They need her. Absolutely. And I was so happy. I popped so hard when I looked at that screen and saw that she was in the crowd. I was like, oh my fucking shit. I've just got goosebumps thinking of that moment. Within a year, she's gone. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? You had somebody, if used right, she could be the, you know, she could be the one that possibly, if I had my way, I would have booked to possibly end Asuka's streak. She could have been the one that posed a legitimate threat to not only Shayna Baszler, but Ronda Rousey and Rhea Ripley as well.
Nia.
And Nia. Absolutely. Oh, Christ, I completely forgot about Nia. And it's like, why did you let her go? Why, like, and I understand, obviously, if a talent's not happy, then do the right thing for them in terms of letting them go. But she never even got started. And I'm just so gutted because we've just come up with, like, a group of people that she could have been a legitimate, you know, hey, this is it kind of thing.
It could have been monster, like, in the nicest way.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many times I've seen things, I think you could really play on it. Like, having someone go against, like, Nia Jax is just what we all want. It's like watching, you know, when we watch Keith Lee and Brock Lesnar. Like, everyone was like, everyone was really excited.
Yeah.
We need that with Nia. We need someone to go against someone like Nia
Yeah.
And against Shayna, and that'd be like, oh, because as much as Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley can do that,
Yeah.
they need that extra.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they this is the thing, they do make these silly mistakes.
Yeah.
It does suck, really does suck.
Yeah. And I mean, going on from there then, firstly, what is your thoughts towards intergender matches?
I think it depends for me, kind of who it is, the situation. I don't mind it personally. I've seen some really good stuff like in the indies, and like some of the death matches I've seen, and some of the matches, they're freaking unreal.
Yeah.
Absolutely unreal. And I liked when they did the the mixed match challenges. I thought they were quite cool.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing it, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Even if they did like a proper tester of it. Like I thought with the with the whole Alexa and Randy Orton, I thought, hold on a minute, is this something they're going to go down with? I think it just depends who it would be with. Like, imagine like, I couldn't even.
So here's one for you then.
There is
like picking up from the Royal Rumble 2019. Obviously, Nia Jax, Randy Orton.
Yeah.
And for me, I know Nia gets a lot of shit, and I know that people on the Turnbuckle Arms really shit on Nia, and they're like, she's shit, she's this, she's that, she's the other. If she's got the right opponent, she can look like $1 million fucking dollars. And maybe, just maybe, the right opponent for her is in the other division, if you like. So her going against Randy, I'm just picking Randy Orton because I know that he RKO'd and eliminated her. So picking up from that, I've got an axe to grind with you. You know, I'm not saying that she should challenge for titles just yet. But yeah, it'd be nice to see, and Rhea Ripley as well. You know, that would be amazing. And also, it leads quite nicely into the next question then. So, ignoring how everything with Tessa being the Impact World Champion ended, do you think that we will ever get to that point in WWE where they go, do you know what, it's time for you to run with it and we'll see a female world champion?
I don't think.
Okay.
I really don't. I think with Impact, when they obviously did that with Tessa, and I don't know your opinion on Tessa. I don't like her, what she did. I don't like that. But Tessa's one of my favourites. I loved her in the ring. Like when she won that title, I was so happy. Like I was absolutely buzzing. And that's what I loved. I loved that. Her and Sammy's, what they were doing, beautiful.
Yeah.
Their roster's maybe a bit smaller.
Yeah.
Kind of work. But because WWE, there is a lot going on over there.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think we'd ever see it. Which would be a shame, because there are some things I would like to see. Like imagine like Charlotte and Roman Reigns. Like imagine that.
Yeah.
That would be the situation ever. They're like the two of the biggest names.
Yeah.
Fair up. Will be stunning. But I don't think we'll see it.
I think they missed out on a trick on that though. Like, because you think about it, during, I don't know whether you know, during the Attitude Era, when China had the Intercontinental title, she was being booked to win the world title, and they cancelled it last minute. And I think that they tripped up slightly on that, because granted, they were still technically at war with WCW. WCW had David Arquette as their champion, so nothing WWE done would have been as outrageous as that, to be honest with you. And I'm not shitting on David Arquette. I just didn't think it, even as a kid, I was like, this just doesn't make sense. But, you know, could you imagine someone like, I don't know, could you imagine someone like Rhea Ripley going up against Roman or Brock or somebody like that? And looking an absolute fucking badass at the same time. Like, for me, that's where they've got to go to. If they are fully serious about this women's evolution or revolution, whatever, they have to go down that line at some point. They have to.
The only issue is that would stop it is the fans, the very, very opinionated fans, would go absolutely like that. Honestly, like, I think because it does help that we're females, we do understand this, but there are a lot of opinionated wrestling fans out there. Like, just, you know, when I've appeared on people's like shows and podcasts and YouTube, people have been nasty to me, like so nasty, because I'm a wrestling fan. Because I'm honestly the female wrestling fan. If that happened, and you know, they even did shit on Tessa Blanchard. They did, and they weren't very nice about her either. Oh my god, we'd honestly, there'd be a riot. People kicking off because people don't want to give things a chance. They don't want to give things a chance. That's the problem. And I think WWE do feel threatened by that, and they do think, oh, like, we're really going to piss a lot of people off. Let's stay, you know, stay normal. Let's keep the championship on Roman Reigns for the next 3 years, because they don't want to test things. That's the thing. That's why with AEW, I was looking forward to them because I thought, oh, they might push a few boundaries.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't think they have either. They've kind of quite samey.
But with AEW, and I say this to myself more than anything else, they're still young. They're still developing. So, of course, they're gonna.
Do you think they could have started that trend?
Yeah.
Might be young, and they might, you know, might be new, but they could have been that. They could have been the people that started everything, and they could have, you know, made that change. Maybe.
Yeah.
You know, Impact, what they managed to do. They thought, we've got a little gap in the market here.
Yeah.
But they do have the opportunity now that they can do that.
Yeah.
And, you know, if AEW did go ahead and do that straight away, like, imagine Nyla Rose, like, going for something like that. How unreal would that be?
Do you know what? I didn't even think of that.
Like, her going for, like, not even like, imagine her going for Kenny Omega or something like that.
God. That's a can of worms I'd like to see, to be fair.
Imagine Nyla Rose just absolutely going through that roster. Imagine that. It'd be awesome. Like, there's I've said so many times about the AEW women's roster. They just slept on it. I thought they was going to. I've been so angry about it for so long because they had some incredible people there, and I just think done. How much you could have done. They didn't.
Yeah, for me, the frustrating thing is that Britt Baker hasn't been champion yet.
Right?
And I'm like, you've got somebody. Yeah, I mean, you've got somebody in her that is an ideal fucking role model, and that's not a play on words because of what she calls herself. But not only is she educated and she's successful and she's, you know, she has 2 careers essentially. She has her dentistry and she has wrestling. And for me, what an inspiration to those younger, like, you know, I'm only in my early 30s, but those that are younger than me, that are growing up, that are watching, that see the product. There's more diversity to a character, and I'll be honest with you, in the 18 months that I've watched it AEW, I feel more connected to her than I do most of the women on WWE. And it's just because she's got a backstory.
Yeah. And I think what she does really, like, she's fucking very inspirational woman. She really is. And this thing about, I was really excited because I thought, you know, they might try and change things up, but they're another one at the minute that do book the same people every single week. So I was excited about them obviously teaming a lot more of Impact, because I thought, hold on, like, we could imagine the names, like Jordan Grace on AEW just for a bit, like, with her and Nyla Rose.
Yeah.
Imagine, like, I think who's top of my head who's even on Impact, but imagine them going against like Britt Baker, like.
Yeah.
they did the good thing having Thunder Rosa. Very good thing putting Thunder Rosa on it.
Yeah.
I just think, I said this in a video of mine a little while ago, like, even one day, someone was just calling me. I've got to finish with my glasses. To collect my glasses, so I do apologise.
That's fine.
Even one day that we could have WWE and AEW team up. I know we'll probably never see it happen.
Yeah.
My God, that would be beautiful.
Yeah.
And that, like, really, there's some people that I'd love to see go against each other.
Yeah. Here's one for you then, picking up on that thread. Do you think that WWE would ever go into partnership with an indie promotion like Ring of Honor or Guerrilla Pro Wrestling, something like that, to go, well, actually, yeah, you've teamed up with another big one, but we're going for the indies?
Obviously you've got AEW kind of going a little bit towards Japan at the minute, but imagine, like, there's some indie wrestlers that could be on, like, even if they're doing like little guest spots, but they even bring in like the intergender stuff, or they're bringing the death matches, or they're bringing. God.
Yeah.
Imagine that'd be insane. But I did say in this one video that imagine if they did team up with AEW for a little bit.
Yeah.
One little crossover. I'd be buzzing about it.
So, like, use the Worlds Collide pay-per-view.
Exactly.
Easy.
Imagine like a match between like Finn and Darby Allin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then there's, they, as much as they don't really like each other and are not the biggest fans, it'd be unreal. Absolutely ridiculous them doing all that.
Our friends over at Powered 4 TV are giving listeners to this podcast an incredible 50% off your first month when you sign up to powered4.tv and use the promo code JONAS. Powered 4 TV are one of the leading on-demand streaming services in the UK, with tons of shows from over 20 wrestling promotions from around the UK and the US, including TNT Extreme, Chicagoland Championship Wrestling, DNA Pro Wrestling, Full Force Wrestling, Ignite Wrestling, and so many more. There's also plenty more to enjoy, including an incredible archive of classic matches, live layers with William Eva, podcasts, and so much more. Sign up to Powered 4 TV today and save 50% off your first month. Just use the promo code JONAS.
Yeah. I mean, I was saying the other day, what about someone like Walter versus, and I know that they're on the same company, but Walter versus Aleister Black?
Or just Walter versus anyone on that.
Yeah, to be fair, mate. To be fair, let's bring it back to females here. Walter versus Nyla Rose.
Walter versus Braun Strowman.
My God.
It's what I mean, but they've slept on Walter as well. They've slept on him. The amount of opportunities he should have been in the Rumbles.
Yeah.
Lesnar and Walter, people. What are you doing? Like,
yeah. Having said that, though, I'm still vexed that Pete Dunne called out Brock Lesnar and Brock Lesnar didn't reply.
He ain't going to reply to Pete Dunne, is he?
And it's like, yeah, but the thing was, though, it was the time that, like, Pete Dunne was coming up for like 600 days as champion, and he was on a pre-show and he was like, give me anyone, give me Brock Lesnar. And do you know what? They missed a trick with that. I'd have been on to Brock Lesnar and I'd have been like, listen, mate, get Paul Heyman to respond, because at the moment, why aren't you responding? Why aren't you responding?
They missed a lot of things. Like, there's so many people that they really could put together.
Yeah.
And they're just not. They're not. And, there's, like, even with, like, the Undisputed Era, put them on the main roster just for a little bit. Let them stir shit up with, like, the Hurt Business or someone like that.
I see what you're saying, but I quite like the fact that they're still on NXT for now.
Yeah, I worry about them going to the main roster. I really do.
Yeah, I mean...
I obviously, we haven't seen that much from, but, like, Kyle O'Reilly is a an underrated.
Absolutely. I think they all are.
They
like,
really.
If Adam Cole is treated correctly,
Yeah.
I genuinely think.
Sorry.
It's all right. Don't worry.
Anyway, please continue.
Anyways, yeah, if Adam Cole is treated correctly, they could have somebody as big as Shawn Michaels on their hands. He is that good. Like, and Kyle O'Reilly could be a legitimate contender for Roman Reigns. Bobby Fish is so underrated, and I don't think they use Roderick Strong to the best of their abilities, to be fair. But anyway, let's bring it back to females. So, obviously now we've got it looks like we're going to have a permanent Women's Royal Rumble match. It looks like we have a permanent female Survivor Series traditional match. Do you think women should get any more guaranteed sort of traditional matches, maybe like a Queen of the Ring tournament or something like that? I know that we've also got Money in the Bank as well now, but just thinking something on SummerSlam as well and stuff like that.
Them doing Elimination Chamber is brilliant as well. Like the last few matches they've done.
Having said that, though, I do have a slight gripe with the Elimination Chamber. And for me, it's that not every person, both male and female, are not built as legitimate contenders. So if you built everyone in that match, there's 6 of them, built all 6 of them to a point where every single one could legitimately hold that title, then you'd have it, then you'd crack it. Because I think WWE have really lost that, in the sense of, you think back to the Attitude Era, there was The Rock, there was Mankind, there was Triple H, there was Austin. Those 4 names could legitimately hold that title. But then, as I said that, I went, but what about Kurt Angle? What about The Undertaker? At the moment, on the main roster and NXT, I'm like, I don't know. I know who I would like to see with the title, but I can't say to them they're a legitimate contender. So yeah,
I've said this quite a few times. Like there is like people that they could build up and really, really push. And,
yeah.
As much as I would like to see Natalya with a belt, she hasn't got, in the nicest way, she hasn't got the Sasha big personality. She hasn't got the Charlotte big personality. Like, obviously, the one person that has it at the minute is Bianca Belair, and
yeah,
they have that big, like, it's you watch it, things like that in the Rumble. Like when you see the girls come out and you see, oh, so and so's in the ring, oh, there's so and so, but then you get them certain people that come out, you're like, oh, they could stir some stuff up, they could stir some shit.
Yeah,
they need that because there's so many people they could do it to, but they just don't. But then, I used to think that about Bayley. I used to think when she did her whole horrendous hugger Bayley style. I never used to think, oh, Bayley's going to cause some trouble. Now, what they've managed to do with her, I think, I look forward to seeing Bayley.
Yeah.
Because transformed it into this massive thing that carried that company. Like the guys, I'm sorry, they did have a leg to stand on compared to Sasha and Bayley last year. Like what they do, carried it, the whole thing, and I watched it week in, week out for them to.
Yeah. I mean, I know what people would say if they announced that there was going to be a Queen of the Ring tournament. They would kick off and go, well, Charlotte's going to win it. But I don't know. Like, there are people that deserve it more. And it was interesting what you were saying about Natalya and about how she hasn't got the personality. Because I grew up watching her dad, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and I don't remember his matches. I remember his beard. I remember him doing that a lot with his beard.
Yeah.
And that's what I remember the Anvil for. So Natalia needs to find something, and as horrible as this may sound, she needs to cut all of the ties to the hearts. She needs to be more than just.
It's the outfit that, you know, obviously I've liked the fact she's been doing a lot more of Lana, because she's kind of getting into the more Lana kind of outfits kind of thing now. But I've said this before, that she comes out in this whole heart thing. It's like trying to follow something that in the nicest way is no longer there. Like in the nicest way. If she come out with a whole different new look, a new style, a new attitude, people be like, hold on, where's she been? Or even, you know what, even if her and Beth Phoenix ended up teaming up together, like that would be a dream for me. Like come back and do the whole thing they used to do, and they had a whole different thing. They'll be like, hold on, let's sit back and let's watch what she's capable of. Because people really just sleep on Natalia, and you just think she's very talented, and she, you know, she's got this loving personality, and you know, she just doesn't get given a chance. If they really changed her and thought, nah, you know what, you do this, you do that, people might, oh, okay.
Do you know what's really nice, actually, speaking about, like, she's got a loving personality? What was really nice is she shared photographs on Instagram, and she's with -1. And she's in the ring with TJ, her husband, and they're training him. And I was like, that is fucking adorable. Like, we need to see more of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying about that. That makes sense.
That's what I mean. But like, okay, a really good example then, someone that had that change and it worked for Io Shirai. Oh, Shirai went from someone I did not, in the nicest way, give a fuck about, to someone that's one of my favourites. She's probably in my top 5.
Yeah.
She turned into this bad ass bitch, and I was like,
yeah,
hold on. Everyone Io Shirai, but here she is. And then look at the impact she made. Boom.
Yeah.
The greatest ever.
Yeah.
And that's what they need. You know, they need to do something like that again.
Yeah. But it's realising what they have in the moment. Because for me, I don't know how you felt about Charlotte going back to NXT last year. I didn't think she needed it.
I was really excited about it because, you know, you had Rhea over there, you had Io Shirai, you know, you had a few people. I thought, okay, I do like it. I like when they go back, and I do feel like it's exciting. I get excited here. You know, when I heard that Edge was going to go back and, you know, do what he was going to do, I was like, oh, him like Damian Priest together. This is.
Yeah.
I do like it. I do like when they, like the bigger guys. Like, imagine like Roman Reigns just going on there for a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do like it. Not staying on there forever. Just, you know, that get more eyes maybe back on that. Stir the pot, stir some more shit, and leave again.
Yeah. I mean, if they'd done that with Charlotte, that would have been great, because I marked fucking hard when she started showing up on NXT to challenge Rhea. I don't think it was the time for Rhea to lose the championship. I think she should have lost it to Bianca Belair. That's just me. You know, and again, not shitting on Charlotte Flair, the person, Charlotte Flair, the booking, absolutely shitting on. Because she didn't need to be a 2-time NXT Women's Champion, because that had already been done. So
she could have just been there to, you know, to make Rhea look better.
Yeah, and that match could have quite easily finished by a count out or a double disqualification or something.
It was one, like, obviously at WrestleMania, that's one match I was excited for. I was like, like, two of my favourites. Like, and I watched it. I didn't enjoy it. I wasn't excited in the end. I wasn't like hyped up, and it sucked. And I thought, if maybe the situation was different, maybe so. Like, maybe they could have put that off, a little bit, rather than going straight for that.
I'm hoping that, because I don't know whether you've seen what Kaylee Ray has been putting out on Twitter. She's been calling Bayley out. So Kaylee Ray is the current NXT UK Women's Champion, and Bayley posted, Bailey posted a picture and she had every single title belt that you could have in WWE with the exception of one. And Kaylee Ray went, well, you're missing one. And Bailey's like, I'll take it. So I'm hoping if they ever do a Worlds Collide again, if they ever go back to normal, that is a match I want to see. I don't want to see it for the UK Championship, Women's Championship at the moment. I don't think Bailey needs it. But I'd be happy with that. I'd take that.
If they did that, it would then get more eyes for the UK, which they...
Yeah.
I think that would be really, really, really good.
I mean, could you imagine the likes of Piper Niven against Sasha Banks?
Even against Nia Jax.
Yeah. See, the booking possibilities are endless, but at the moment we're sort of hampered by two things. We're hampered by WWE not seeing what they have, and also fucking COVID. So it's like, for fuck's sake.
Apparently.
Oh?
So that might be a slight issue we've got with COVID at the minute. That's the...
Yeah, just a slight one.
Just a tiny thing that's been ruining us for like a year and a half now.
Yeah. Feels like forever. It feels like decades. Right. You picked up on this before. And I'm going to take it down a more serious route, if you don't mind. You said before that you've had some quite negative interactions with people. My question is how do you deal with it?
I think, I've got the stuff on my Instagram, I've got the stuff on my Twitter, I've got it on YouTube. It gets to a point where it goes over your head. It goes completely like this. When I first started doing stuff with other companies and I, first kind of saw a few of these comments and I thought, well, that ain't good. It got to the point where I just ignored it and I don't even look. Like if my my video gets posted on, Pro Wrestling Unlimited or, with stuff with the Sean Ross Sapp that I did and it gets posted on there, I don't even look at the comments anymore. I'm like, did my bit. I'm not gonna think too much into it, not gonna look into it. It goes right over my head. And I'm quite lucky that apart from on the videos and things like that, I've never got nasty messages like personally. I've never gone on my Instagram, someone's been really disgusting. I've never had any of that, which I'm very, very lucky with, because I know on like wrestling social media can be a nasty, nasty place. And I've seen some things that I luckily, if you know me quite well, I've got no filter, and if I don't like something, I'm going to say it. But I've out of it because I thought, no, I'm not going to get myself in trouble. There's some things that people don't, aren't very respectful and really about anyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a case of, I have said this to a lot of people that I thrive on hate and I thrive on people trying to go against me. The more and more you start and the more and more you think I shouldn't do something, I'm probably going to do it a lot more because I know it's going to wind you up.
Great mentality.
I thrive more on it, and it's either it's not like I'm doing anything bad, I'm not doing anything wrong. It's because I'm clearly doing something. If I'm getting them reactions, I'm doing something either really right, and you don't like it, or I don't really care either way.
Yeah,
and I will continue to do it. It's sometimes I've never had like a horrible comment and I thought, right, that's it, I'm giving it up, I'm done. I've never been like that. It's more of I've just been really, really tired or something like that, or wrestling's really annoyed me. I've never, no, I've had enough, I'm stepping away from it. Because when I was younger, I got bullied quite a lot when I was in school, and I was never a cool kid. I was never one of the, it was only like a couple of years ago I thought, actually I'm not that bad, I'm actually quite a cool person. And now, because I'm very, very confident now, I never used to be when I was younger, and I tell people, like, if you don't like what I do, if you don't like the wrestling stuff, if you don't like what I do, then goodbye, because I don't care.
Yeah.
If I'm enjoying doing something, if I'm enjoying talking about wrestling, I'm enjoying doing gaming, I'm enjoying whatever I do. There's a lot, I'm single as well. Imagine like the stuff I get on dating apps from people that if they see my Instagram, stuff I've had, and you just think, you are
Yeah.
single, my friend. You are single for a reason. You get the odd nice one, and I do get a lot of shit, but you know, I put these things out there.
Yeah.
Someone like it, unfortunately. There's always going to be some small-minded, stupid sponge that isn't going to like it.
I like that. I like that mentality. I'm also going to try and use stupid sponge more often, I think. As fans, then, do you think that there's some aspect of responsibility from other fans if they see something that they're not happy with? So the example that I'm going to use is the late Brodie Lee's wife came out a couple of weeks after Brodie's passing and shared screenshots of messages that she'd got, and some of the things that they were saying to her was absolutely vile. Now, obviously, if that's in somebody's DMs, obviously the wrestling community can't thingy, but if it's in a public section like on Instagram or whatever, and people post things, do you think that other people should be like, hang on a minute, you're out of order there, or just scroll on by and ignore it?
I think sometimes it does depend what it is. Like, I see a lot of drama on Twitter. I see a lot of things like that, and I try and avoid as much as possible, unless it's something that I'm really, really bothered by, something's really, really, shook me. Then I'll maybe say my bit. But sometimes I think maybe things shouldn't be aired all over social media. Like, keep your not so much opinions, because everyone of course has their own opinion. I appreciate that, but some things you think, are you 10 years of age? Like, please up and stop being immature. Like, I feel like a lot of people just don't have that brain cell. They just have the brain cell. And it's very sad.
That's a really nice way to sort of look at a negative situation. I never sort of thought of it like that. So it's, you know, because obviously one of the concerns I have doing this and doing Turnbuckle is that I am plus size. I'm not gonna, you know, I can't hide that, you know. And that's one of the things that I worry about. I worry about the negativity that surrounds that aspect and stuff like that. And, you know, it's on me. I own how I look and stuff. So
I say this to my friends all the time. Like, you know, you get a lot of nasty people out there, and I think personally, if the only reason people are nasty, people are bitching, people are, you know, slagging you off, being nasty, they're not happy with their own lives. That's what they are, not happy with what they've got going on. Simple as that. Like, you know, when I've had things before, like behind my back, and people spoke about me behind my back, or I'll get messages from my girl saying, "Oh, I heard that so and so has been slagging so and so off," or whatever. Because they're happy. They don't like their own lives. But, you know, you know, I'm, you know, I post quite a lot on social media, and I ain't got that many clothes on. I'll be honest. Like, you know, we've all seen it. I haven't got.
Very jealous, I have to say. I wish I was as confident.
But do you know what? I am very, very confident, but I still get anxious putting them pictures up. I send them to maybe 3 of my mates to be like, "Are we sure they look okay?" I still panic because I know how nasty social media can be. I know how it can be. It's sometimes not a nice place, but you look at the people that are taking the mickey out of you and you think, you haven't even got a profile picture. Your picture is literally of a watermelon.
I like it.
True. Like, you know, I will never stand for anyone being nasty about anyone's weight, anyone's looks, anything like. I will not stand for it. I will. That's something I will put if I ever saw anything on Twitter of anyone being rude to someone I know, I will join in, and I'll be like, no, because that's not okay. That's not okay. And, you know, like, even like in the wrestling world, like when someone's either a bit of weight or someone's maybe not looking great that day.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but these people don't look fantastic every day. They are, you know, there is not, you know, I look at quite a lot of, I used to compare myself so much to a lot of people's social media. There's these stunt like Kylie Jenner and all these beautiful girls on Instagram. And then I was watching a video and I was like, oh my God, they're really, really photoshopped. All these people are photoshopped, and none of them are happy with the way they look.
Yeah.
So I used to always compare myself to different people, and I think, no, like, that's not real. Like, these lives that people are saying they have, they aren't real.
Yeah.
You know, all these, you know, going to Dubai and they're on the beach and they all look lovely and tanned. I could look tanned if I went on Facetune.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think people sort of forget that, but some of the interactions that I've had with people I know actually have called me out because I was very critical of Eva Marie.
Mm.
And when she was released, when she left, I was like, thank God. And that's no disrespect to Eva Marie, the person, to an extent, because I saw when she was on Total Divas, she was complaining about bruises. And she was like, oh, I look so ugly with these bruises. And I'm like, what did you expect you were fucking doing? You're not going around like walking dogs or whatever. You physically, and that sort of wound me up, because my thing is, there are people that were more deserving at the time of a place on the main roster than her. And I got called out for it. You're a troll, you're this, you're that, you're the other. And I was like, whoa, hang on a minute. Why am I a troll? Because, because I'm critical of someone, because I don't believe she deserves a place on the main roster compared to some of the others. And I asked the question, okay, we'll reverse the roles then. The person that I'm slating, in your words, is male. Would you stand for it? They couldn't answer me. And it's like, why won't you answer that question? And the simple fact of it was that they wouldn't. And my question to them is, so why, as a female wrestling fan, should I have to stand for watching Eva Marie just because she's pretty? And yeah, it gets a bit...
Eva Marie, when she was on there before, I wasn't the biggest fan of her wrestling. I didn't mind her, if I'm honest. I quite liked her. And she's someone this year that I wanted back in that Rumble. Because, I have watched her. Obviously, I don't know if you follow her on everything. She has just worked and worked out and worked on her as a person. She's doing all these movies, she's doing all this stuff. And I thought, if she come back now, like, it might actually be a lot better. Because I kind of like watching her kind of transform into this fitness ambassador, and she's trying to help these people and doing all these things. I thought, you know what, like, she's grown a lot on me. Obviously, I know she's signed with WWE still. Well, she is obviously signed a new contract, so I am waiting for the moment she comes back.
Yeah.
So I was never somebody that was really that hating on her anyway. I wasn't like the biggest fan in the world, but now I really like her just because I've seen how much she's grown as a person.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting to see what she's like when she comes back. And she, I haven't seen any of her socials, so I'll take your word for it. She's done the work. But people remember how, and this is no disrespect to her, but people remember how bad, or they forget how bad Trish Stratus was when she first started. She came in and she was a fitness model. That was it, And over the years, we saw her evolve from a diva to a wrestler. And she's living proof that you can do it.
That's what I would hope would be for her. I really do.
Yeah.
The same with, imagine if a lot of them women that, back in the day did come back now, apart from probably Victoria, which it's so like Tori Wilson come in and tried to be that wrestler again, or tried to actually be a wrestler. Would it work now? Like, if Victoria come back full time, she'd kill it. Like, she would be amazing. And same with like Mickie James,
and Lita as well.
Lita, like, people like that. And you do look at even like Kelly. I don't know if she could come back and do it all properly. I don't think they could do it unless they really built them up or whatever.
Yeah,
they're kind of people I don't think would be able to do it. But that's why I am hoping that Eva Marie does come back and people maybe look at her a bit differently and think, actually, she's trying. Like, she's at working, like, don't come back and just do all the botch. Oh, I've had a wardrobe malfunction. If they'd ask, oh, human, if they did that, I'd be.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why I was so happy to see her go, because again, look at the rosters, look who they've got. In the time that it took to have this non-match where there was, like, you know, something that stopped it, you could have been showcasing somebody else. And I think that was the main issue that I had. Right. Another serious question, and I'll try and make it a bit more lighthearted. So before we started recording, we spoke very, very briefly about the speaking out movement that happened last year. So how does wrestling as a whole now recover from this? Can it recover?
I think it's a very hard one. Like, I've got close friends that were very involved in it that had these issues. I'm very, very lucky that I didn't have any of these problems.
Yeah.
I had people that I was very, very, very close with that got called out as one of these naughty people. A lot happened last year, and it was crazy. And I think it's very, very hard, tough situation, because, you know, there's all these promotions obviously trying to set out these new safeguarding, and obviously with the correct safeguard, with all of that, then maybe it will be one day back to normal. But everyone is scared. People are scared, and, you know, I'm friends with a lot of wrestlers. You know, I'm friends with a lot of the British guys, and they're worried because they don't want, you know, they're the people that weren't, you know, come across bad. They didn't do anything wrong, and they're worried. They don't want to upset anybody. They don't want to, you know, ideally piss anyone off. They don't want to come across bad.
Yeah.
And it's hard, like, you know, there's these absolute morons that just make me feel sick, quite frankly, thinking about it. What they have done is sad. It's so sad for the people that are left, that are the good guys, and you just think there are good people still. There are incredible people that, you know, were absolutely, you know, some of these guys have some of their friends that they've been, like, heartbroken by, and I just, you know, I think, I don't know what it's going to be like when wrestling comes back over here. Don't know what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
I hope it's going to be kind of like, in a way, a fresh start, and we'll have all these different new superstars that they can build up here, and they've got the garden, they've got the people that, you know, are good, and yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. It's a tough one, because you literally don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, thinking of yourself, not those around you that were affected, do you find that now sometimes when you try and watch a product and somebody comes on that was linked to that movement, you think, I really don't want to watch this? I
barely watch NXT UK.
Okay.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
There are people on there that should not be on there, basically.
Right.
When it all come out about, even like Matt Riddle, and I was a big Matt Riddle fan, and I met him at Press the other year, and I was such a fan. He comes on that TV now, and I blank him.
Yeah.
He ain't there anymore for me.
Yeah.
No. Sorry, hun. Like, I don't have time for it. I don't have time for these things, and it's hard. Like, I don't know what. I really, honestly, don't know.
Yeah.
Like, and
yeah. I mean, for me, I haven't watched as much wrestling purely because of it, because I think I'm still getting over everything, you know, in terms of what happened, and I wasn't directly affected, if that makes sense, by what had gone on, and you know, I was just gutted because I felt like there was nothing sacred anymore. You know, wrestling was my comfort blanket, and overnight it got taken away.
Crazy, I think, like, everyone that I know for 2 weeks was just, I didn't know what to say. Like, we were all drained, and we refreshed our Twitter and there was someone new, and you just thought,
Yeah.
your heart sunk every time, because there are people in there that I was so close with that
Yeah.
got called scary. Like, it's worrying, because you think, like, I was friends with them. Like, I text them quite often, and like, I used to be very I was going to stay with some of them, like in America. And you think, fuck, like, that's mental. And
Yeah.
you know, I think there has been so much like stuff that has come out, and people have still got their jobs and have still got their lives, and you think these people that you have traumatized,
Yeah.
dead, and some people don't want to come back to wrestling. People, you know, don't enjoy what they used to love anymore because of you, and
Yeah.
you're going out there enjoying your job. No.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was in work when it started breaking, and there's a few of the lads that I work with that are into wrestling like me, and they'd come up to me and they'd just show me the phone, and it was another name, another name, another name, and it got to a point where I was like, do me a favour, don't tell me anymore, because you know.
I completely just avoided Twitter for a couple of days. I think quite a few people did, because it doesn't matter. They opened Twitter and they're just there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's great. It's disgusting, and I do. Wrestling will never be the same, but I hope with the right people, with the right safeguarding, with everything, and people still want to try and give it. You know, I'm hoping that it's all right.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope that too. You know, it's been a difficult one. That on top of the corona thing has been a difficult one. But right,
the last year has been a write-off.
Yeah.
Real.
Do you know what? I'm gonna be even more real. I think the next 2 years are gonna be a write-off as well. Genuinely.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Weird, but I was speaking to my optician last weekend.
Nice.
He said, yeah, things ain't never gonna be back to normal. I was like, thank you. Thanks. Yeah.
I thought I was being like, you know, all depressive and stuff by saying 2 years. But
things will never be the same. Oh, brilliant. You know something I clearly don't. Fantastic.
Yeah.
There's so many. I don't know, like the first lockdown I was okay. Second one I was all right. This one has been the killer for me. This has been probably the first one. And I sat there yesterday, I sat there at work, and I was sitting there contemplating my life, and I just thought there's so much I want to do, and so much that in the wrestling stuff that I had all these opportunities. Like last weekend was meant to be like my debut as a backstage interviewer for a new promotion, and like it's mental. Like last year I was meant to be in America majority of the year, and I had all these different plans, and you just think I'm getting older, and you know I'm stuck. You know, everyone's feeling the same. Like we all sat there at work talking about it, and we're like, we're stuck. Like, you know, as the woman I work with, she's going to have to change her wedding this year because she can't go to Jamaica and have her wedding. And but honestly, like I could rant about the COVID situation for a very long time, because if I see one more social media influencer in Dubai, I am going to lose my absolute.
Yeah.
We're going to apparently.
Oh. God.
Dubai shut and banned everything now, so it's now Mexico that everyone's going to, which obviously because they have to go and do their essential social media work there.
Allegedly. Like, this is one of the reasons why I always say, and it is genuinely in my notes for this show, wear a mask, don't be a dick, follow the rules, because I know you're sick of it. I know everyone's fed up about it. I work in the communication sector, and I have worked every single weekday that I can, and there is a legitimate risk of me coming into contact with COVID kits. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say any more than that. And when I see people out on the street not socially distancing, not wearing a mask, I get so pissed off, because I'm like, listen, not only is my life slipping away, I'll never get this time back, but it's time with my nephews, it's time with my niece, it's time with my family. I'm not going to get that back. Like, I can't remember the last time I saw my mum and dad. And it's going to get even harder in the next couple of weeks, because my mum's birthday's coming up. And like, we always do something for her birthday, and it's just not going to happen. So, you know, it's like, don't be a dick, follow the fucking rules.
It's what I mean. Like, I've the amount of people I've seen on Instagram and social media, like going out still seeing all their mates. The amount of people I've unfollowed because I'm like, now, do you know what?
Yeah.
It's not rule for you, one rule for everyone else.
Yeah.
Like, you're the ones that are moaning that you can't live your normal lives, but you're the ones being the idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just honestly, I've given up on the human race, quite frankly. Now, I've had to think, come on.
Yeah. Right. Last question. We'll turn it into a positive one now. Where do women in professional wrestling go from here? Because we've had a lot of firsts over the past sort of 5-6 years. You know, one of the main one being the absolute fantastic work that Renee Young did with WWE. You know, she was a backstage interviewer. She then went to commentary. She then ended up as the first female commentator on Raw. Where do we go? Where?
Hopefully, another year of main event in WrestleMania.
Fingers crossed.
Sasha and Bianca Belair. We are praying this year. We are praying for this.
Yeah.
I think it's only going to go up. Like,
it has to, doesn't it?
Has just been amazing for women's wrestling. And you know I feel like they are spending more time on the women, and they really are. And obviously, it's not great that obviously maybe they're not paying as much attention to the men that do deserve it, but the women are getting their chances. And it's like, you know, like I said earlier about Evolution being like my favorite pay-per-view ever. That was just, I would love another, you know, a part 2 of that.
Yeah.
We're still waiting for that. Everyone's saying, "Oh, let it happen, let it happen." I don't know why it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
sorry.
No. Going back to what you were saying before about, you know, WWE could have been on with setting the trend. They could do that. You know, granted, they are the first major company that I can think of that have done the all women pay-per-view. Do it every year. You know, at the end of the day, everything is coming from what used to be the Performance Center. I don't know what the fuck they've called it now, but like, everyone should be like tested and screened and everything. Go for it. Just put it on. I mean, I want to see another Cruiserweight Classic. To be honest with you, I fucking love that tournament. They've dropped the ball with that as well. But I really want to see sort of a Evolution, but also a Worlds Collide style thing, but just female. You know, I mean, if they want to go further, have an all-female commentary team. Could you imagine that?
Billy Kay put her on there. Beth Phoenix, Young.
Oh,
But Lillian Garcia, bring her back and do it.
yeah.
Oh, she is such, like, as much she wasn't, you know, much a wrestler, but she's an idol of mine, that woman. Really, because, you know, for me, she was a massive part of my childhood, really huge part, and I used to just like admire what she did in that ring, like, just, you know, just on the mic. I admire, really did. And she's always somebody. She's like a Paul Heyman. I want to sit down and have a chat with her as well.
I mean, having an all female commentary team could be a nice little way of putting Becky Lynch back into things. You know, of course, Seth Rollins is out there and is like, oh, she's ready to come back. She's ready to come back. She might go back to it, and she might be like, actually, do you know what? My priorities have changed. I've got a little one to look after now. I don't want to do it, but I'll do talking instead, or whatever. I think that'd be a nice little thing to get her back. You know, but where do we go?
They do change up a bit, where you got the kind of retired girls just come back like every now and then to do like the odd bit of commentary, and, you know, getting like even like Trish on there, or even Lita, or any of those, you know, those ladies on there, just to do their little bit. Like, oh my god, the pop I had when Jillian Hall come out. Oh my god, that was like a dream. I was like, I sat there just froze. I didn't know what to say. I was like, imagine her coming out and doing commentary. Her and Billy Kay.
Yeah.
That was, it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And you know, there are so many opportunities they do have, and even on any other brand, even not just WWE, like you know, Impact. Everybody sleeps on their roster because their roster's insane as well.
Yeah.
And you know, there are so many opportunities they do have that they could really, really smash it. And I do hope they do kind of pull their finger out and think, oh, actually, we could do this, or we could do that.
Yeah. I mean, could you imagine the beautiful people on commentary?
It'd be amazing.
Just, you know, and this is the thing, like, during the time that I was watching, the beautiful people were two that really stood out to me because, yes, they were pretty, but they also knew how to hurt you as well. And I think that's something else that's lost, but that's a different issue for a different day.
You know, like even like Molly Holly, put her on commentary.
Oh, yes.
Her on there.
Yeah.
I love her coming in the Rumbles, but bless her little heart. Put her and Beth Phoenix in the commentary together.
Yeah.
What are you doing? That's what I mean. There's a lot of things they could do and they should do, but maybe they will make it, you know, one day, and it will happen.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. However, I just want to pick up on that though. What do you think about the way that Robert Stone has been portrayed with Chelsea Green?
I never liked that situation personally.
Okay.
I preferred Chelsea Green when she was the hot mess Chelsea Green.
Right.
Old Chelsea Green. The whole Robert Stone thing, I've really, really struggled to get involved in. I have really struggled. I don't think it's
I just thought it was interesting that they've taken the traditional manager valet role and they flipped it on its head, and I wanted to see where they went with it.
They did in the nicest way. Did that with maybe someone different other than Chelsea Green. I know it's not bad, but if they did that with even if they did that with Carmella, like obviously I know she's had this whole little thing like the Reginald, but if they had a proper Paul Heyman kind of manager for that, even like Robert Stone even doing it for like Carmella, that would be beautiful.
Here's one for you then. Corey Graves doing it for Carmella.
I don't think it would get a good reaction. I don't know. I don't think it would work. I like Corey Graves. I do quite like him. And you know what? How he sits there week in, week out, watching her go out, and she looks incredible. Like my love for Carmella. Oh my god.
Yeah.
How he doesn't react differently to that situation. Like he must have to play it so good. And I just think, like, your missus up there, like, you should be hyping her the hell up. Like, please do.
Yeah, but he's distracted by Mandy Rose.
No, what?
I swear, if Mandy Rose ever became champion and Corey Graves was like commentating that match, I think he'd spontaneously combust. Genuinely.
Yeah, the thing is, I think they have to do it like that. But honestly, I wouldn't. Sorry, I'm not the biggest Mandy Rose fan. If I'm honest, I've never been the biggest. Sonya Deville, hell yeah, like she's my girl. She's my girl for. Mandy Rose, I've never been the biggest fan of her. I don't personally rate her that much. I really don't, and I still don't even think like even having the gimmick either. So that great.
Yeah, it reminds me too much of early Trish Stratus.
Yeah, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, she needs a moment like, and listen, again, I reference somebody that was linked to speaking out. I don't condone what he's allegedly done, but he needs that moment that the Velveteen Dream had with Aleister Black. I wasn't sold on the Velveteen Dream until that match with Aleister Black, and at the end, Aleister Black said the Velveteen Dream's name. That for me was the moment that clicked. But obviously, she needs that. She needs that moment.
Yeah, I think the whole I couldn't get with the whole her and Otis thing. Couldn't get on it. I couldn't get involved. weren't feeling it.
No.
I think there are people that deserve that little bit of spot more than her, quite frankly.
Yeah.
I just don't, not her biggest. I haven't really got my foam finger out cheering for her, you know. She's probably one of the only women on that roster I don't feel like that. And I hype every single woman up on there.
Yeah.
She's probably one of the only ones I don't like jump up and down for, really.
Yeah.
Her, I know it sounds really bad, but even Peyton Royce, I don't even feel like that about either. Her with Billy, yes. Her on her own.
Yeah. I think they were separated way, way too soon. There was so much that they could have done with that. But it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand the reason for splitting them, but maybe they just felt it was the right time and get them to shine in different ways. I liked the Iconics reunion in the Rumble. That was really nice.
I love Billy Kay. I bloody love Billy Kay. I really do.
Yeah.
Her not doing the wrestling. I like her whole running around just causing mischief. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And
And also
like that as well.
Yeah, it's also quite a nice thing as well to make sure that they're seen on TV as well. So yeah, I really like that. But I don't know. You know, we've spoken about where do they go from here. I guess the world's their oyster. If they're used right, the world is absolutely their oyster, because I didn't realise, but a couple of months before Chris Statlander signed for AEW, she was on WWE, and she was a footnote. You know, she was like she was like Tommaso Ciampa. I don't know if you remember his very first appearance on SmackDown, when he came out and he was the lawyer for somebody, and he had hair and he had glasses on, easily forgettable. Tommaso Ciampa of like 2016 onwards was a badass, and I'm like, you know, but yeah, I guess the sky is the limit for her, especially, you know, I know, I'm not sure, is Chris Statlander still injured, or?
She was incredible in AEW. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can't wait to see what she comes back and does. I hope that she can come back, you know, and hopefully she'll just tear it up again and she'll, you know, get a run with the title. And I mean, we were talking before about dream matches. What about her versus the alpha female?
Yeah.
You know, or her versus Ripley, or even Billy Kay. Let's go for it. Why not? You know.
Why not?
Oh, why not? Right. I think that that's sort of a perfect note to end on. I'm just going to sum it up by saying the role of women in wrestling in 2021 is very complicated, and depends on a lot of factors. We absolutely deserve the place that we have and that we are getting.
And the main event.
Yes, I was just about to say, and I think we deserve more. So let's just hope that we have more main events at WrestleMania coming up. That would have stole the show if we'd have had a crowd, but there we go last year. Right, Jess, before I let you go, please remind everyone where we can find you on social media.
You can find me at Just Jessy on YouTube. You can find me at Watches Jess on Twitter, where I'm not going to go into all of my plugs because it's all on my Twitter anyway, because that's where the majority of my life.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being on the first episode. You've been amazing. I've had a blast. And thank you as well for everything that you've said to me via messages as well. Like, genuinely, that was so nice to read and really reassuring. So thank you. Massive thank you goes out as well to Johners and the team at Powered 4 TV for making this whole thing possible. I hope the episode has done everyone involved proud. You can find me on social media at Grappuchino on Twitter and Grappuchino Thoughts on Instagram. I'll put everything else on there that you need to find. You can also send any topics or give your opinions on anything that you want me to ask future guests or talk about at grappuccinothoughts@gmail.com. And on that note, that's been the first crazy episode of the Grappuchino Thoughts podcast. So, because it's a crazy, crazy time that we live in, stay safe, be kind, wear a mask, and watch pro wrestling. Much love, guys. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye.